Okay, good morning all. I want to have a quick talk this morning about multiple sheets and the purpose of multiple sheets, and I want to start educating everybody on what makes me abort a meeting, because I think that's the biggest one that everybody's probably getting themselves confused about. And if everyone was to look at the sheets and say, have they bet when I've aborted a meeting and then they've lost? Okay, they'd probably scratch their head why, or when I abort and the sheets end up winning. So it's going to be one of those 50-50 calls. All right. The purpose of multiple sheets is, again, I think I've touched on this before. All right. This particular service, the Winning Edge Syndicate service, all right, it's unique because we go all over. Well, we go all over Australia. I personally go all over the world. I bet in New Zealand, Hong Kong, Singapore, and South Africa, and soon I'll be betting in Korea and Japan. All right. Now, the mathematical formula that I created, okay, it's pretty much locked up. There's only 3 people on the planet that actually have the formula for this, and it enables that. Basically, it enables us to go to these racing jurisdictions, and we apply the formula, and then we test it for 6 months, and then we launch, and then we start betting off that. Okay, because as I said, with horse racing, with me, I do the opposite. It's not about, sitting there doing videos. Well, I do videos, but it's not what you think with horse racing. We've developed something that we think, works, and we've got proof that it works. And basically, it's just a mathematical equation. We apply it, and we apply it all over the world, and we apply it in Australia. Now, we have the ability to send out multiple sheets because every racing jurisdiction in Australia is pretty much the same for us. The big thing for us is obviously the tracks. Now, multiple sheets are not designed for everybody to sit there race by race and bet on every single race on every sheet that you send. It's not designed for that. If you're getting these sheets, all right, if you're subscribing to all over Australia, let's just say you're getting Queensland, Perth, New South Wales, Victoria, and you're getting 5 sheets a day, and you're sitting there betting off 5 sheets, you're going to go broke. End of discussion, you're going to go broke. Right? You might have a day where you might jag some nice sheets here and there, but overall, in time, you're just going to go broke. All right? The purpose of multiple sheets is what I call, let's go fishing. We throw out the net, all right? So we throw out the net for Wangaratta, we throw out the net for Port Macquarie, we throw out the net for Bunbury, we throw out the net for whoever we sent yesterday. Now, what we do is we sit there and we go, right, which track is the one that's making the most money today? Well, Wangaratta certainly wasn't, and that's why I didn't have one bet in Wangaratta yesterday. I think I had one bet, or I had 0 bets in Wangaratta yesterday. Okay, so the reason why, one of the big reasons why I bought a meeting is exactly what I thought was going to happen at Wangaratta yesterday. Every race, we had 5 picks. Look at this. Race 1, well, that wasn't a no-bet race because 2 unknown runners. All right, now just quickly on the unknown runner situation, the reason why I don't press pass is because I know some members that have been with me for a while still like to bet on these type of races. So I leave the units up, but for 99% of you guys, just pass. 2 unknown runners, just bin the race. If I am navigating, again, I've said this before, I might bet because I see something in the markets that suggests to take them on. But in this instance, it was a pass race. All right, but have a look at every race, 5 picks. Look at this. This one was 4 picks. All right, I don't even know what won the race. Yeah, you know what I mean. And I know the track themselves. This system teaches you about tracks. Now, this particular track, the data coming off this track is really poor. It's a favourites track, and as you saw yesterday, just about every favourite won there. All right, I didn't see anything in this particular meeting that, look at this, 5 picks, 1, 2, 3, 4. For me, the emergency is a 5th pick. It's just so, and then all we're doing, look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks. Look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks. It's just a no-no. All right, it's telling me that I'm looking for a bet. All right, and then 9 times out of 10, we're taking on the favourite. Now, I've done a lot of data on this. When we're taking on 50% of the favourites, or even anything above 50%, we're not going to win. We can't be always right. The data tells me abort the meeting. So in future, if you see a meeting where you think, oh, look, there's all these, he's taken on so many, and I say it in my notes, we're dropping way too many runners. We're dropping way too many. And then again, we have a look, all right? there's just way too many runners that I'm taking on. All right, and then all of a sudden we're just basically betting against the data. So that's one of the reasons why I bought. And then what happens then is I say to myself, okay, I know that Wangaratta is not going to be the best track today. All right, let's what I like to say is dip our toes in. And when I say dip our toes in, have a bet in a couple of races. If it looks like that it's just a pattern that's going to happen, and that's what happens. Patterns develop. Trust me, they do. You think that they don't, but they do. When favourites start winning 1, 2, 3, just abort. You go because they've obviously isolated what the track's doing today, and they bet according to that. Now I can sit there when I'm navigating and I can see the same data. I can see it. I know what they're doing, so that's why. But this is when I'm not navigating. These talks are all when I'm not navigating, because that's the most important bit. When you get the sheets, most of you guys would not know what to do unless I'm navigating. But I'm going to start easing you into all that and to isolate and to know when to actually pull the pin on a race meeting. And this was a classic example of that. I even said it on, look at this, drop 258 runners of poor problem. They are concerns. We're not in the business of big blah, blah, blah. I will go on and on and on about it. And when I start dropping 3, 4 runners in a meeting, we're gonskis. I mean, look, the 5-1. $3.20 all day yesterday. It was just favourite after. Look at this. Favourite. And I see them. Look, I see them all. They're all there. I see them. But I don't want to back these runners. I've backed these runners in the past. There is no money backing them. They have their day in the sun. They win. Of course they're going to win. Right? Certain tracks will always produce certain winners. And this is what happened there yesterday. It was and I know straight away I said it. I thought, no, I'm out of here, So look at this, race 4. They're all there. They're all there but I wanted better price. Now this thing in the morning, the night before, was $3, or it was $2.90. All right. Now I had it rated at 4.30, and then it actually hit 4.30 late. But I'm not interested in these type of runners. So when we send out multiple sheets, just have a look at it. Read the notes. The notes will always tell you what the thought processes are, that I'm doing and that's why I abort meetings, because I just look at the meeting and I go, we're taking on every single race. We are taking on a favourite, and if we're not taking on a favourite, taking on the second favourite, it's a no-no. Especially these bad meetings on a Thursday, Tuesday, Monday. You're just wasting your time. I mean, I'm pretty sure that I wrote something in one of my sheets yesterday that Australian racing at the moment, it's going south. Soon we're going to have every race. We're going to see like the trots. We're going to have $1.20, and it's already starting to happen. And I'm just not interested in that. All right, that's what they want you to do. They want you to keep betting in these races. All right, eventually it's going to wear you down, and eventually you're just not going to make any money. So just because we sent out 5 sheets yesterday, I think I had 3 bets all over Australia, because I knew that the tracks were just, that the meetings were no good. I can see it, that you don't see it. But now I'm going to start transferring what I can see and getting everybody to see what I'm looking at all the time. So then you can make the call to abort a meeting, right? And all it is just that knowing that, right, is this meeting any good? Have a look at it, read the notes, and then make the call. Again, another meeting where I looked at the meeting itself and I said, well, this is going to be one of those meetings, and the data tells me red lights, warning Will Robinson, warning. Just look at the meeting and know that this is just not going to be one of these meetings that we're going to make money out of. Now, I know this because when I look at the data tells me, all right, everything's tight, everything's congested. You found the same runners as the corporate bookmakers. What's the point of taking them on? I don't want to be taking them on, all right? And all we're going to be doing is you're going to have to sit there all day and look what the markets are doing. You don't want to be doing that. You don't want the bets. You don't want to be looking for bets. You want the bets coming to you. And once the bet starts coming to you, then you start having a bet. Now, this was another meeting that I just thought, this is not going to turn out right. And this particular track, it's pretty poor over the long term, and that's why I abort. And it was the right call. Look at one yesterday. All right, favourite, second favourite. It's just boring. There's nothing there. Look at this, race 3. All right, here we go. Did we have Block of Land? It was a sub runner. Okay. Now, had we been betting on that race, it probably would have been. We probably would have dropped one runner. All right. But again, it's just there's no. For me, there's just no money in this. When I'm starting to look at these meetings and I start to see that I've got 4 or 5 picks every meeting, I just go to myself, I don't want to be betting in these races. I don't need to. All right. Now, what run race 4? There we go. Noble Lawrence. It's just boring. And when you're looking at these numbers all day like I do, you start to isolate, you start to look at these sheets. Now, you'll ask yourself, why do I send the sheets? Because there are guys out there that just still want to bet. I can't stop you from betting, all right? That's the one thing that I've learned with this. I can try to give you and tell you what to do and try to educate most of you, but long term, most people do what they want to do, all right? Now, when I say abort a meeting, all right, just abort the meeting, walk away from it, just bin it. Pretend it never got there. But if you're going to sit there and start thinking, oh, look, I might be clever here, he might have got it wrong, and sometimes I do get it wrong. There's no denying that. But 70% of the time when I abort, it's the right call. And yesterday was a classic example of that. We had 5 sheets that I pretty much aborted. And that tells me that, I've saved so many units. I mean, look at this. Look at the winners coming out of Bunbury yesterday. There's another favourite all day. Now, I aborted. I didn't even have a bet in race 1. It was just a complete pass. All right. Now, I did the same at Pakenham. Now, Pakenham, admittedly, it came good at the end, but who cares? The first 4 or 5 races, they were no good. I looked at the first 4 or 5 races and I thought, well, luckily we aborted. Sometimes the sheets do come back roaring back at the end, but look at this, $1.95. I see all these runners. $2.60. $2.40. They're all on the sheet, these runners, but I don't want to back them. This was a race where we had it on top. We had the trifecta. I mean, that thing, the third horse paid $21 for the place. Look what it paid on Betfair, $292. We had that on the sheet, number 13. But who cares? You don't look at it like that. All right, you got to look at overall. Where are we at overall? And overall, it was the right call. Then straight back to normal again. Favourite wins. And it was like that on most of the tracks yesterday. Most of these tracks that we aborted was the right call. So, with me aborting and with multiple sheets, please do not sit there and think, oh, this is like, this is fantastic. We got all I can bet here all day. No, it's a no. What you do when I'm not around and you get all these multiple sheets, all right? Read what my notes are saying. Have a look at them carefully. And then if you could see, the big sign is when I've got 4 or 5, when I've got 4 picks plus an emergency every race. And that's okay to have that sometimes, but when I'm taking on every race, if 50% of that program I've dropped favourites, then we're in trouble. We really are. It's not a guessing game. That's what the data has told me over the years, that whenever we have multiple picks, multiple sheets, and every single race we're dropping the favourites, and we're not dropping the favourite, we're dropping the first favourite, the second favourite, all right? The percentages games plays in, the likelihood of us beating them is really minimal. That's why you should learn to abort, all right? And sometimes if you abort and the sheets do well, don't worry about it. Like I keep saying, I produce sheets pretty much 365 days or whatever. The Good Friday is the only day that you won't, and even Good Friday now, I think they're racing in Perth. So what I'm saying is there's always going to be sheets and there's always tomorrow. Multiple sheets are not designed for you to sit there all day and bet. I'm going to keep emphasizing that. And I want to emphasize how you can self-abort. How you self-abort is very, very easy. You're betting in race 1, race 2, race 3, and you're 0 from 3, and you're down 9 units. Look ahead and say to yourself, how many more races have I got? I've got 4 or 5 races. How many races has he dropped the favourites out of the next 4 or 5 races? Well, he's dropped every single runner that's a favourite in the last 4 races. You're down 9, 10 units, okay? The percentages will work against you if you keep going. You might snag it and get your money back, but that's not a sensible way to bet. Throw in the white towel, go again tomorrow, all right? With the multiple sheets, have a look at each meeting individually and go, right, where do I want to, which track is doing well at the moment? All right, Port Macquarie's doing really good. I'm going to stick with Port and bin everything else. Don't bother looking at anything else. Oh, Bunbury's doing good today. Oh well, I'm going to stick to Bunbury, and that's how you got to think. That's what you got to. That's what the multiple sheets are there for. You have a dip. You pull out. You want to keep swimming in the same swimming pool. Stay in that same track, but don't try to bet on every single meeting. Trust me, guys. When I'm navigating, I can do that for you. I can isolate it and go, right, we're looking at this track and we're having a bet at this track. But when you're on your own, that's the hardest bit. Now, right, don't bet with hesitation. I don't know what to do here. Always revert back to the rules. What did the rules say? Because the rules are there designed so you don't stuff it up. All right, and that's why we put the rules in place so you do not stuff this up. All right, so again, over the next 2 or 3 weeks now that the carnival sort of died off, I'm going to start doing more talks and educating more and more and more and more, especially on the markets. And I'm going to keep drilling how the markets work and what they do and how they're all out to, the tricks that they play. But again, I might send out 3 or 4 sheets today, right now, and you might think, oh, you beauty, I'm going to go again. But that doesn't mean that we're betting on every single one of those sheets. It just means that, all right, he's thrown out the line and he's trying to hook in some nice races, and that's all that means. Okay, thanks, guys.